Sup folks, StugeGG here with another episode of Tomboys Need Love Too. In the last episode, we dealt with some arguments between Sophie and Chris, but I guess the main thing that kind of happened was we woke up and Chris was again in our bedroom staring at our morning occurrence, and that led to her exposing herself to us. I guess it's just her upper body in an attempt to make us see her as a female. And just as we were about to embrace, our mother knocked on the door. So got blocked. We were being a beta, a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, then we came to school. The argument ensued. Sophie's hair now is the same as Chris's. Sophie gave us money and said thanks for coming shopping with us, which was a lie. So Sophie kind of doesn't seem like a fully nice person. But we'll see how that angle plays out later, I'm sure. If not in this playthrough, if in a sped up second playthrough to see what happens when you pursue Sophie. But here we go. Once our teacher arrived, the tension in the classroom naturally dissipated. Our collective focus was drawn to the lesson at hand rather than our classmates' change in style, and we were given no leeway to chat. Even so, that didn't stop the stray comment here and there, nor did it put an end to the sideways glances directed at the new Sophie. Looking at Sophie carefully from behind, I still can't reach any other conclusion than she knowingly modeled her new hairstyle after Chris's. I got a little bit of a cold, so hopefully the voices aren't too far off. But why? Those two have never gotten along, and I certainly can't see them becoming friends anytime soon. Come on, you're an idiot, Kai. Did Sophie do it purely because of the convenience of short hair? Or maybe she actually thinks of Chris surprisingly fondly. No, you're an idiot. Whatever the case, the tension between those two doesn't seem like it'll be eased anytime soon. If I'm going to befriend Sophie, I need to play it safe. Once again, reaffirming my own view on what was going on, I returned my gaze to the front of the room just as class ended. To my relief, our teacher left the classroom without assigning us any homework, and her prompt departure gave us the freedom to express our discontent once more. How is it still only morning? Just kill me now and get it over with. Class wasn't that bad, was it? At least we didn't get any homework. That isn't what I'm worried about. Huh? The moment that Chris finished speaking, I noticed footsteps growing closer to us. When I raised my head, surely enough, the true source of Chris's chagrin made itself obvious. I think that our first lesson for the day has ended already. Time sure flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, Kai? Yeah, I guess. Of course, breaks are important too. We mustn't get too bogged down in our studies. Besides, if we didn't take the occasional break, we wouldn't be able to chat like this, would we? Yeah, that's right. We really don't need to sub me on the concept of taking a break, though. That's the one part of school I have a pretty good grasp on. Haha, you don't say. I do hope that you're treating your other duties as a student with as much prudence as your breaks, though. As students, we must attend class diligently and spend our time increasing our knowledge in preparation for what lies beyond. That's rich coming from the girl who skipped school yesterday. Perhaps being sick of being ignored, Chris chimed in just as Sophie's lecture began to gain traction. That was an isolated incident and not something to be emulated. Yeah, right. Earlier you were gleefully bragging about how you skipped class to go shopping, and now you're saying it's a bad thing? I think my voice for Chris is way off. I don't know what's going on. You're such a hypocrite. Sophie's calm demeanor disappeared in no time at all as Chris began to speak to her. In spite of Sophie's usually cheerful and pleasant personality, it seemed that Chris possessed the ability to easily get under Sophie's skin and to call her out on what I could not. You're just jealous that I was spending time with Kai without your knowledge. What? Don't be absurd. Kai and I already spent plenty of time together. Why would I care if he took pity on you and wasted an hour of his time? Took pity on me? Wasted his time? Christine, don't you think you're being awfully rude? I understand that jealousy makes people do and say irrational things, but please try to control yourself. I told you I'm not jealous. Kai and I don't even have that kind of relationship. Oh, is that so? In that case, you would have no reason to object if I were to ask Kai out on a date then, would you? What? Date? Chris exclaimed loudly enough for the entire class to hear, but at that point in time, I paid her surprise no mind, because even more so than Chris, I was in complete shock. That's right. That's what two people do when they're fond of one another, isn't it? It's embarrassing to say, but I've actually had my eye on Kai for a while now, and I'd like to think that he feels the same way. So, Kai, if you don't already have plans this Saturday, would you like to spend some time with me? Exclamation. Frozen in place, unable to believe what I was hearing, I stared blankly at Sophie with my mouth wide open. I was happy that Sophie started to speak to me this morning. I never imagined that yesterday's events would so quickly lead to a situation like this. Moreover, if what she said was true, then my longing for her was not one-sided. Unbelievably, she too watched over me from across the classroom, wishing for the two of us to grow closer. Clearly she didn't until yesterday. Come on, dude. Oh, he's fallen for it. He's a sucker. It all seemed too good to be true, because it is. If you're sure that you want to with me, then... He can't. Kai can't go on a date with you. Chris? Before I could answer, Chris suddenly interrupted. With a look of panic on her face and clear distress in her voice. Oh, she's sweating. She desperately cut me off. Oh, is that so? And why is that, Christine? I thought you said your relationship wasn't like that. It isn't, but... Then stay out of it. Shutting down Chris's interference, Sophie directed her gaze towards me once more. Please, Kai, you don't have to answer immediately, but do give it some thought. I know we haven't spoken much, and I do apologize for that, but if possible, I'd like to take this opportunity to get to know you better. If you feel the same way, please do me the honor of escorting me this weekend. I shifted my gaze back and forth between Chris and Sophie, trying to make sense of what was happening. As though playing out a fantasy I'd had many times before, Sophie asked me out on a date. With red cheeks, Sophie shyly admitted to liking me. She said that she wanted to get to know me better, that our feelings were mutual, and I couldn't be happier. However, Kai... Unlike my fantasies, in which I immediately accept Sophie's invitation without consequence or consideration for others, this time around, Chris was right beside me. Just looking at her face, I could tell that Chris wanted me to refuse Sophie's invitation. Chris's objection, whether it stemmed from something as simple as her loathing of Sophie, or perhaps from the feelings Chris expressed for me this morning, was not something I could ignore. I didn't want to hurt Chris. Her happiness mattered to me greatly. Even if her apparent fondness for me was all in my head, the last thing I wanted to do was make her sad. But that didn't mean the answer would come to me easily. Denying the friendship of Sophie, who just yesterday was attacked by her closest companions, would be akin to abandoning her at her most vulnerable. On the other hand, accepting Sophie's invitation would mean hurting Chris, my best friend, who just this morning gave me reason to think there might be more to our relationship. Just like when Sophie was attacked and claimed that Chris was present at the time, I could not easily choose either side. I wanted to believe in both of them. I wanted to make both Chris and Sophie happy. I wanted the best result for everyone so that nobody would need to get hurt. But that was no longer possible. I needed to make a decision. I needed to choose who I wanted to spend my time with, and far more importantly, who to place my trust in. Between Sophie, the girl I longed for and wanted to console, and Chris, my one true friend over all these years, which of them would I pick? So obviously, same thing. Gonna give it a nice old save right here. This seems to be the main turning point of the game, obviously. But we've already said... For this first playthrough, we're going to invite Chris out. See, I feel like there is a better option here. Like, because shutting down Sophie now is basically saying, no, I don't care about you. You were attacked, but, you know, whatever. I'd still like to be your... We can do something like, hey, we don't need to do this. Sophie, I do want to be your friend, but I don't think you that way, Chris, or something. I don't know. But it's not just, if we accept Sophie, Chris would probably still be our friend. If we invite Chris out and said Sophie probably won't be involved with this anymore. We're going to pick Chris, like I said. Sophie, thank you for the invitation. It means a lot to me that you invite a guy like me out, and I want to get to know you better too. But the thing is, I was planning on asking Chris out this weekend. Hearing my answer, Chris screamed in surprise. You mean like me and you together on a date? I didn't necessarily mean it like that, but yeah, that's right. Be it as friends, boyfriend and girlfriend, or something else entirely, my time with Chris was always enjoyable. So even if I was mistaken about Chris's feelings towards me, or about mine for her, I would never regret choosing to spend the weekend with her. I wasn't planning on asking you like this, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but... Oh, of course I'll go. Oh gosh, but this is so sudden. My good clothes are at my house, and it would ruin the surprise of the mood if we walked together from Kai's house. Maybe I should have played it cool and given it some thought before answering. Chris? No, wait. My parents get back tomorrow night, so it should be fine. I'll go home tomorrow, spend the night at my house, pick something to wear, and... Okay, Saturday morning we'll meet in front of the... Unable to control her excitement, Chris took far longer than usual to realize just how loudly she was talking. By this point, every set of eyes in the classroom was fixed on her, and everyone knew of her plans for the weekend. We'll talk tonight. Completely red in the face, and not just from embarrassment, Chris quietly walked towards the classroom door. Chris? Where are you going? Class will be starting soon. Waiting at Chris's receding back, I watched nervously as her figure disappeared from my sight. Oh well, she probably just needs a minute to cool her head. With Chris no longer visible, I pulled my eyes away from the door, only to suddenly remember that Chris was not the only person to whom I was speaking. Oh, Sophie, Don't bother. Responding in a harsh tone, I guess my tone was not harsh, so I looked down the floor as she spoke. I already knew that the two of you were like that, even if you weren't already dating. Anyone could see that it was only a matter of time. I'm sorry for trying to butt in. Betraying the self-deprecation in her words, Sophie's voice contained clear hostility as she hurried away from my desk and turned to her seat. She immediately slumped her shoulders, placing her forehead on the desk and wrapping her arms around the sides of her head so nobody could see her expression. Whether she felt disappointed by my rejection or betrayed that I would take Chris aside after hearing the claims Sophie made about her, Sophie was clearly done talking. For the time being, all I could do was watch her trembling figure and wait for Chris to return. Okay, I guess there's our choice. Take a quick drink. Hey, Kai. Yeah? Can you believe it? We're going on a real date. You and me, boyfriend and girlfriend. Boyfriend and girlfriend. Just saying that makes my heart pound like crazy. I don't think that was our implication when we asked her out. Hey, on a scale of 1 to I'm about to wet my pants, how nervous were you when you asked me out? What kind of grading scale is that? And I wasn't that nervous, though I probably would have been if I intended for it to be a date from the beginning. You were so cute, trying to act calm and mature while asking me out in front of everyone. It's not like it was supposed to be in front of everyone. You just attracted too much attention when you started screaming out date like a maniac. Well, excuse me for being excited. Would you rather have me brush it off like it was nothing? I bet that's what Sophie would have done. Don't say that. You saw how nervous Sophie was when she asked me out. I wouldn't be so sure about that. As Sophie's name came up, I felt a sense of unease begin to bog me down. Kai, are you alright? Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry, I was just thinking about Sophie. You're regretting choosing me over her? No, of course not. I just feel guilty about turning her down, that's all. After you left the classroom, Sophie just kept her head on the desk, buried her face in her arms, and didn't surface until the next lesson started. I knew from the beginning that, no matter what answer I gave, someone would get hurt, but that didn't make it any easier to endure. All through class, I couldn't help but wonder if I should have turned her down without involving Chris. Maybe I could have delayed my answer until later, or faked a stomachache? No, it was too late for any of that. And while I was happy with one part of the result, Sophie's despondent expression was one I wouldn't soon forget. Oh, I see. I didn't notice that. To be honest, I wasn't paying any attention to Sophie at all after that. I didn't even think about how she must have taken it. Not that I feel bad about it, though. Despite the empathy in her voice a moment ago, Chris quickly changed tune and wore a bright smile once more. Really, I still can't believe you asked me out on a date, in the middle of class at that. You've got more guts than I thought, Kai. Yeah, I guess you're right. To be honest, I kind of surprised myself. But Chris was the first one who actually called it a date, not me. So, what do you think we should do first? I kind of want to go home and start messaging all my friends. I told most of them at school already. Oh, and I should call my parents? And should I call my parents? Or would it be better to wait until I get home and tell them together? We're not like getting married here, we're just going out, calm down. I smiled nervously as Chris's enthusiasm continued to climb. Chris, I get that you're excited, but I think you should dial it down. We haven't even gone anywhere or done anything yet. Do you really think announcing to your parents that we're a couple is the first thing we should be doing? A couple? Just hearing you say that makes me all giddy. Although I hadn't thought about it while I was speaking, I did find it kind of odd how naturally I referred to us as a couple. Maybe I'm more ready for this than I thought. I didn't intend for this, and it just kind of happened. Now that it has, I think I might actually be happy about this. But you may have a point. Are you boyfriend and girlfriend yet? Or is it not official until we've actually gone on a date? We've gone out together plenty of times in the past anyway, so do these outings count? Or does the relationship get wiped clean the second it changes? You're overthinking this. No, you're underthinking this. Come on, Kai, work with me here. Does relationships start fresh when it changes, or does the past also shape your new relationships? I'm gonna say it all adds up. I don't think a couple should be bogged down by their past forever, but it's not like you can just pretend that the past didn't happen. I mean, if a couple didn't have a history together, they wouldn't be dating in the first place, right? It's only because two people have spent so much time together that they can reach that stage. Without that buildup, what's the point? That's a pretty good argument. I certainly do agree that people should have a good relationship before they become a couple, but even so, I don't want to think that it's a requirement. Of course, that's probably just because I'm a sucker for love at first sight stories. So, what's the verdict? Are we a couple yet? Or do I still have another day of freedom left? Don't know. Oh, come on. I sighed in disbelief as Chris shrugged off the topic she was so fixated on a moment ago. Whatever. It's not like I'd do anything different either way. I mean, as long as we still act the same at home, it really shouldn't make any difference, should it? Oh no. Something's gonna happen. Right, I'd forgotten about that. I was thinking about whether to call my own parents, but I completely forgot about yours. Okay, as soon as we get home, let's tell your mother everything. No, wait. Before we could stop her, Chris ran towards my house eagerly, closing the final stretch in a heartbeat as our houses came into view. Holy crap, I'm out of shape. Breathing hard as I failed to keep up, I reached my house much later than Chris. While Chris would sometimes spend her free time playing sports with her friends in other classes, I had no such hobby. I lived a very sedentary lifestyle. Apart from walking to and from school, I indulged in little to no exercise. Suffice to say, there's no way I can compete with Chris in terms of fitness. Damn, am I too late? Still panting, I straightened my back and ran into the next room. Inside, I saw my mother and Chris, who both turned to me with joyful looks on their faces. Kai, there you are. You're so slow, I was about to go on without you. Go on? Does that mean I made it in time after all? Only just. So, do you want to tell your mother, or should we do it together? I'm not too late after all. Listen, Chris, before that, I was thinking that we should... Oh, you don't need to wait for Kai. He'll dally around for hours before spitting it out. Come on, don't keep me in suspense any longer. Out with it already. I hurriedly tried to stop Chris before we could pass the point of no return, only to have my feeble attempt at resistance torn down immediately. Oh, Mother, you were so impatient. All right then, I'll tell you myself. Kai and I are... We're going to be going out for a while on Saturday, so plan accordingly, okay? I desperately interrupted Chris, causing her obvious displeasure. Although I was the one who invited Chris out and spoke about us being a couple in a surprisingly natural fashion, I felt far too uneasy to be spreading news of our hours-old relationship already. Oh, is that all? Honestly, Chris, you had me thinking that something amazing had happened. My bad. I suppose that means I won't need to cook lunch on Saturday. Maybe I should go out too. It feels like I don't get out much nowadays. Calling to herself, my mother walked into the next room while thinking deeply about her plans for the weekend. I'm sorry. Without waiting for Chris to address me, I instinctively apologized. Jerk. Why did you have to do that? You made it sound so boring. The way you put it, your mother didn't even realize what I was trying to say. I know. That was kind of the idea. Do you not want your mother to know? I know it's a bit sudden, but personally, I think she'd be happy to know. Even if it was largely in jest, she's always been supportive of the two of us becoming a couple. I think she's been wanting this almost as much as I have. But if you don't want to tell her yet, I won't force you. No, it's not like I want to keep our relationship a secret or anything. And I have no intention of hiding it from my mother. It's just, like you said before, we haven't even gone out yet. I only asked you out a few hours ago. Don't you think it's a little hasty to be calling ourselves a couple already? What are you doing, dude? Now you're just blowing it. Yeah, I guess. But you know... Red tinge appeared on Chris's face, alerting me to the smile that was about to surface. Even if I'm being hasty, I'm just so excited. I know it's irrational to get so happy over something like this, but I've waited for so long, and now it's finally happened, I just want to tell everyone. I guess maybe I've been in this relationship a lot longer than you have, inside my head at least. Chris. Hearing how Chris felt, my doubts were immediately cleared away. Whether we were being hasty, getting excited over nothing, or just acting like hormonal teenagers, that was no reason not to be enthusiastic. Even if we looked like excitable idiots in the eyes of others, as long as we were happy, that was all that mattered. See, this is a good message. Alright, have it your way. Let's tell my mother the good news. Really? It's okay? Of course. You're not the only one who's excited about all of this, you know? But maybe we should wait until tomorrow morning. You might think it's inappropriate for us to sleep in the same house now that we're... Chris? Yeah, you're kidding. It's true, he asked me out in the middle of class, right in front of everyone. The moment I gave Chris my approval, she ran to the next room and told my mother everything. I immediately heard an unnaturally high-pitched scream of delight from my mother, who proceeded to engage Chris in a one-on-one match of enthusiasm. Hearing that, I could only sigh in resignation as the two of them expressed enough joy for the three of us. Even as one of the involved parties, and the one who started all of this, it somehow felt like I was the least enthusiastic person of all. Was it because the reality of the situation hadn't set in yet? Was it simply that I couldn't compare to the excitable pair in the next room? Or was I unconsciously feeling guilty about hurting Sophie to get to this stage? Whatever the case, tonight was going to be interesting to say the least. Are we gonna have some sexy time? As dinner passes by and night inevitably fell, I retreated to my room to indulge in some peace and quiet. Being subjected to my mother's probing and my girlfriend's unbridled enthusiasm, I felt more fatigued than I thought I would as I rested my head on the pillow. We immediately like all our own girlfriend stuff already. Come on, man. I mean, I guess they've technically kind of been having this dance for a long time. Though Kai was an idiot and didn't realize it until like now. But whatever. Today had been an eventful day. A large portion of our classmates disappeared. Sophie confessed that she liked me. I unintentionally asked Chris out on a date. But surprisingly, now that I had time to reflect on everything that had happened, I no longer felt overwhelmed or uneasy. Instead, before I knew it, a wide smile had spread across my face. I had a girlfriend. And it wasn't just anyone either. My best friend, Chris, was now my girlfriend. My concerns about her not returning my feelings were completely wrong. She felt for me far more strongly than I could have imagined. In hindsight, it was an invigorating feeling to see her so excited about going out with me. Even if I felt unsure at first, I was now certain that I had made the right choice. It's unfortunate that Sophie was hurt in the process, but even knowing that, I just can't stop smiling. Why did it take me so long to realize how much Chris meant to me, and how happy a simple title like boyfriend could make me? Some people would call me stupid for getting so happy about something like this, but honestly, my only regret is being so slow on the uptake. Yeah, you're super slow. Now that we've reached this stage, I won't make that mistake again. I'll be sure to... Knock, knock. Uh-oh. Interrupted mid-thought, I glanced towards the door, somewhat surprised by the unexpected sound. Yes?
Kai, it's me. Can I come in?
Oh, Chris, sure, come in. I responded nervously as I looked at the clock. It was already nearing midnight. I should have been asleep hours ago. And I certainly wasn't expecting a visitor this late. What's gonna happen? What's more, going by the uncharacteristic reservation in Chris's voice... Whoop. I sat up straight as the door slowly creaked open.
Good evening, Kai. Or perhaps I should say good morning, given how late it is.
It isn't midnight just yet, but you're not far off. What's up? You couldn't sleep? Chris shook her head.
I tried, but I'm just too excited. Isn't that silly? My heart's been pounding all afternoon, yet it still hasn't calmed down.
That sounds more like a medical condition to me. You should get that checked out.
Hey, I'm being serious here. Well, that's okay. I don't mind if you play it off as a joke. After all, the fact that you're still awake means that you couldn't sleep either, right?
You've got me there.
This really makes no sense. I want it to be Saturday so badly, and going to sleep would make that happen more quickly. That seems to be the one thing I can't do. Anyway, with that being the case, I was thinking... I was having trouble getting to sleep, and maybe you were too, then... Maybe we should try it together?
Chris, are you saying...
I don't mean anything else by that, okay? When I say sleep, I really do mean exactly that. So, if you're okay with it, I thought maybe we could give it a try?
I stared at Chris in amazement as her proposal dyed both of our faces red. She may have praised me for asking her out in the middle of class, but compared to what she proposed just now, that was nothing. I couldn't even begin to imagine how much courage it took to ask me something like that. If I were in her position, I definitely would have wimped out.
It's okay if you don't want to. Really, I'll understand. I won't be offended or anything. So if you'd rather not, just say the word and...
Alright.
Eh?
Okay. Like, I didn't realize she had to get, like, completely naked for that to happen. But okay, there's nothing I have to blur here. I mean, it's just it's some side boob. I'm guessing if I have the patch on, maybe there's something in that general vicinity. But we'll just go with it. I turned off the light and sat back down on my bed, pulling aside the covers as I wormed my way into bed. Sorry if things sounds a little bit different. I had to blow my nose and try to clear some phlegm out, so in case I need to do the soldier voice, I want to make sure my voice is ready to go. I held the blanket up with my hand, signaling for Chris to snuggle in with me.
I don't need to say it, right?
With my back towards Chris, and my face bright red, I nervously squeezed out those words.
Kai...
Several decibels lower than a moment ago. Well, I guess I didn't do that. Chris softly spoke my name as she walked over my bed. Okay, a second before she reached my bed, however, she suddenly stopped, and the sound of fabric rustling filled my ears. Once the sound stopped, I felt the mattress shift below me. The blanket slipped out of my hand as Chris took her place by my side. She draped the blanket over herself and pressed her body firmly against mine, finding space for two on a mattress made for one.
Kai, your back is so warm. Chris rubbed her face against my neck as she loosely wrapped her arms around my torso. Her hot breath made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, and I could feel my heartbeat even faster as I realized how close Chris's face was to mine.
Chris, I thought you said we were just going to sleep.
We are. Chris tightened her arms around me. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy myself first. Chris continued to squirm around behind my back as she made herself comfortable. Although I couldn't see what she was doing, I could feel her legs weaving between my own, and her cheek harshly rubbing against my neck as though she was nuzzling. You know, Kai, when I hugged your back this morning, I honestly regretted not being able to move around freely like this. I wanted so badly to indulge in the warmth of your body, to hug you tightly, to feel your skin against mine. Your mother hadn't shown up when she did. I don't know what I would have done. But if it's now, when everyone else is fast asleep, then maybe, despite her insistence that we were just going to sleep, Chris appeared to have no intention of doing so. She released her arms from around me and pulled up my shirt to my armpits, then pulled it over my head and tossed it aside.
Hey!
Can you feel it? Chris wrapped her arms around me once more, and with my shirt now removed, I finally realized something important. Chris was naked. He's kind of slow. Well, Kai, can you feel it or not? The beating of my heart, that is. Oh, if that's what she meant? Although I couldn't see her face, I imagined that Chris was smirking behind my back as she teased me. With her naked body pressed up against my bare back, the beating of Chris's heart was naturally not the first thing that came to mind. Instead, my own heart pounded loudly as I felt her stiff nibbles prodding into my back. Okay, well, it looks like we're going to be switching to the sultry voice here. Make sure we're physically ready for it. Chris's soft breasts made themselves known as they conformed to the contours of my back, inciting lust deep within me as their texture was burned into my brain. Ah, your heart just started beating faster. Were you thinking of something naughty? Chris giggled and made a conscious effort to trace circles on my back with her nipples. Whether Chris was aroused sexually, curious about how it would feel, or simply having fun teasing me, she was quickly heading down a dangerous path. I'm just kidding. It's only natural that you would think of something like that. And it's not like I could hold it against you. That would be far too hypocritical of me. Chris stopped shuffling around and relaxed her arms. She pulled her chest back slightly and rested her head against the pillow, leaving her lips a mere inch away from my neck. Sorry, I know it's not fair for me to do something like that to you and then say nothing is going to happen. Be that as it may, we really are just going to sleep tonight. Please, just think of this as me expelling a small part of what I've kept bottled up inside me for so long. It's your fault that so much of it built up after all. Alright, I guess we didn't need the sultry voice for too much there. Yawning loudly, the remaining energy was expelled from Chris's body. She took a few deep breaths and closed her eyes, slowing down her heart rate and at last putting her body to rest. Finally, Chris pressed her lips against the side of my neck, leaking out one final moan of satisfaction. Sweet dreams, Kai. Softly murmuring those few words, Chris stopped moving. Her breath gradually slowed and became softer, so faint that I could barely hear it. Within 1 minute, Chris was fast asleep, still cradling me in her arms. So it got a little bit frisky there for a moment and then kind of went away. But not bad at all. I think we're going to go ahead and actually call this episode here. A little bit shorter than some of the normal ones, but that's not so bad. This seems like a pretty good spot to actually stop. Because that way, you know, whatever the next thing that happens might take forever and then we're a huge long episode. But I want to thank you for watching this one. Obviously, it did get a little exciting there near the end, but most of what happened this episode was obviously us picking Chris over Sophie, and we've now become boyfriend, girlfriend. We're going to see where it goes from there. I imagine there's not too much. We got our date, and then I'm guessing we're going to see one of the 5 endings. So I know there's 5 endings total. I think one is like complete failure on all fronts. I think there's 2 different ones with Chris and 2 different ones with Sophie. I'm guessing, you know, friends more than friends, friends more than friends kind of thing, but we'll see. I'm guessing we're close to seeing one, and then we'll get to see the others as I like skip through and kind of show them to you. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and leave a like, share the video, or subscribe to the channel. Leave comments about how dumb Kai is or whatever you want. Most of all, thank you again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and as always, Please have a great day.